I'm William Nozak, and in this video, I'm gonna cover some do's and don'ts for franchisees and franchise partners. Assuming you have a franchisor that's doing some things, which they usually always are, let's just talk about those things that they're likely in charge of and you should not be also doing. So let's start with the do's. Do, buy leads. If there's a place that aggregates leads and you can get leads from them, you have to pay to play. Likely if it's a service industry or a bottom of the funnel. Prime examples would be like Bark, A Place for Mom, Caring, things like this. And even Google Ads. Google Ads, you can buy keywords at the bottom of the funnel. If you can buy leads, you have to buy leads. Most industries these days are pay to play. Actively seek reviews. If you service an area or have a brick and mortar and you have a Google My Business profile, you must actively seek reviews, whether that's somebody asking at the individual experience, or if that's a software that kicks out a journey at the end of the day or the week asking for those reviews. It can be handled at the individual, the franchisee at that level, or it can be handled at the franchisor level, where there's just a software that kicks out that request for aggregate reviews. Certainly, if you're handling at the franchisee level, you can gate those reviews. Offline gating, still a thing, right? If you know the experience isn't going well, don't ask for a review. If you know the experience is going great, ask for the review. Of course, if your software kicks it at the end of the day, you're gonna get 5s, 2s, 3s, 1s, all of them. Same thing if the franchisor sends it. And that's okay too, because that feedback is still good and valuable. Respond. That's positive and negative. Remember, if you're responding to the negative reviews, you never take it out on the customer or the client. It's already over. You should have already done things to curb that negative review. You haven't done them, it's happened, the negative review happened. There's no way now to go about this other than responding to that review to show the other 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 people that this is never what we expect to happen. And we always plan for every client to have a 5-star experience. And so we're responding for other people to see that we are measured, we are doing our best, and everybody knows sometimes things just don't go right or a client's not a good fit. Warm up journey. So if you are paying for leads, right? Some of them are gonna be piping hot, and those are certainly ones we want our sales team to be dealing with right away. But a lot of those leads, even those that we buy, will come in as warm, and what I like to call at the top of the bottom of the funnel. It's still at the top, still requires some warm up, still requires some information, but really is ready to close, but may have some type of warm up cycle or some sort of runway. Okay, we definitely want those leads in a warm-up journey. So you're gonna need a CRM with some workflows. If the home office has a software and they have workflows already built, use that, because that aggregate data gives us power and ability to make better decisions as a unit. Remember, if you wanna go fast, row by yourself. If you wanna go far, row as a team. So the more things that we use as a group, the better data we get, the more analysis we can ask or the more data we can access from some other franchisee in another market, what they're doing that's working, and the more people that actually are testing and working on things. If we use different softwares, of course those algorithms and the way that they measure things will be different, and there is some value there, but remember that's sometimes apples and oranges. Processes. Certainly, there's always gonna be room to improve sales processes. If you haven't read it, go read E-Myth Revisited. We want the same experience every time someone enters the funnel to our business. We wanna make sure that our marketing isn't getting us our leads and sales just doesn't have the ability to close those leads. And then other things, find those gaps. So when you find out what the franchisor is providing, then you can kind of fill out what those other gaps are. Maybe they don't provide a newsletter, and that could be a part of the warm-up cycle. And maybe there's 5 or 6 different avatars or personas, and you might need to put information in the newsletter that targets maybe refers, or a child that's a purchaser, or a parent that's a purchaser, or someone that's purchasing on someone else's behalf. There could be a whole slew of different avatars, 5, 6, 7 different avatars sometimes. And sometimes it's really easy, and we can bucket those groups and target some newsletter information strictly to them. So you may want to spend money on newsletters. Social media, maybe your franchisor provides social media content, but sometimes it comes across canned. Maybe you can create some type of new stuff, have a social media person that really produces some localized content, some shareable content, and you could sometimes offset some of this as a franchisee franchise partner. And then professional photo video, right? We wanna make sure we understand what the brand guideline is, what the quality standards are, what those standards are for the brand. And sometimes it pays to produce a local photo shoot and a local video shoot, doing kind of local pain points, or someone that creates reels that are in vertical for the social media. If Instagram, Facebook, and or Twitter have value to your end user, right? Do we know some of those demographics? What is the age, sex, socioeconomics of the individuals that typically use or buy our services? Now, things that we definitely don't want to do. We don't want to go and rebrand. That's why you bought a franchise, because they have the branding already set. They should have a brand guide. They should have a voice guide. If you need to create some of these things over here, certainly you're gonna be gaining the access to these resources and then producing anything over here within that brand guideline, right? We don't wanna jump outside the colors. We don't wanna jump outside the typography. We don't wanna use an old logo. We want to follow that brand consistency, because then you're just creating a problem for the whole network. SEO, don't go by SEO. Usually a franchise is gonna have all the franchisees on one website. So another SEO company can't do anything on that property. It's gonna be the home office's SEO company that's gonna be modifying those pages, creating new pages, checking the CRO. How are people doing once they get on that? Are they getting in the funnel? How is the language on that site affecting the SERP positioning? What keywords are we winning for, and what keywords do we wanna win for? Local SEO. Again, if you're paying for an SEO company as a franchisee or a franchise partner, you're wasting your money, because the franchisor, again, will likely kick off the GMB. They will kick off the directories. Find out, because if you're paying someone else to double directories, you're honestly probably doing more damage. And what SEO would they be doing, these SEO companies, if they don't have access to the website? If the GMB is already controlled and maintained by the franchisor and the company that they're working with, and then the directories are already set, what exactly would they be doing here? It doesn't make any sense to pay someone additionally to do SEO. There's nothing they can do. Unless they're getting local news stories for you, which would be more PR, local news stories, things like that. There are some values there, but that would be by case, and it'd be a little bit outside of SEO usually. So use different tools. If you can, use the tools that the networker is using, right? We get economies of scale, economies of scope. We get data inside those tools that we can then compare. What are you doing? What am I doing? Can we share resources? Sometimes, I did put an asterisk here, sometimes this is valuable to find tools that just get better click-through rates or just have better functionality, right? You do need some innovators in your space. Usually within your network, it's good to have some early adopters, some innovators, but it certainly just needs to be a case study or a group or someone that's doing some additional research outside of the network so we can get some comparison. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but the majority of people need to be trying to use the same tools. And then create your own GMBs. Definitely don't do that. If you feel like you should have more than one GMB in your geographical area, talk to your home office about that. There are some strategies here. There are some things here that can be done, but the home office needs to create those so they're added into the parent account, right? These are child or sibling relationships. They need to be controlled by the home office, and and that way the home office can do all the right things, have the right settings, etc. And then creating your own micro website. I get it. The battle is I get a handful of pages, 1 to 20 pages on a franchisor's website, or I can have my own local website, right? Okay, well, Google already doesn't want you to have a micro website if you already have a franchisor website. That's two resources trying to sell the same thing. Google wants to have variation in their SERPs. So one, we really want to have everything aligned on the home website. Certainly you need more than one page to do that. I get it. The micro website, you can put all your localized terms in it. You can have 30, 40 pages, do your own thing, run some sketchy backlink programs, try to get this to win locally. The long road though, right? You can swim out ahead as fast as you can with this. This is not the swim as a group. This is not swim far. Google will always prefer franchise networks because it's like providing a resource that gives lots of options. It solves lots of problems for people that are searching in Google, right? Because if we have a franchise partner, there's lots of options there for those types of questions, for those types of needs. And so Google will prefer that over time. It's always gonna go towards a larger resource. That's why these thumbtacks win. That's why these sites like Bark win, because they provide answers for lots of users. And they get users down to the bottom of the funnel where the purchasing can take place, or even in the middle of the funnel where vetting can take place, where different companies are vetted. All right, and then directories. Definitely don't do your own directories. Your home office should certainly be running your SEO and your local SEO. If you're doing directories or backlinks, you're probably potentially causing some future issues with the franchise website. For one, there are a lot of sketchy backlinks out there. And I'm speaking backlinks and directories, right? Directories should be done here at the local SEO and should be done by the franchisor. If it's not, that's fine, you can do that. But definitely don't do backlinks. And if you do backlinks, they need to be authentic, they need to be in the space, they need to be localized if you're a local company, and they need to be real. Don't try the whole old school backlinking projects where SEOs send backlinks to your franchise website. Why? I have seen franchise websites get algorithmically penalized, and I have seen them get manual penalized, which means if they're manually penalized, they're kicked out of the SERPs. A lot has changed from backlinks. The sites don't really get manual penalties unless they're breaking the rules in major ways, but still, you could be a part of the problem. And so don't do that. If you have questions, certainly try to talk to the SEO company or the digital marketing company that's working with your franchisor so that you can all stay on the same page. You can use your money more appropriately. You can buy more leads, fill more gaps. Don't double efforts and waste your money. Look, if you're looking for a book or a resource for things like this, check out Search Hustle, Digital Marketing Strategies on Amazon.